How would your life change if nothing and no one could shake your peace? Think about it. No more sleepless nights replaying someone's words. No more wasted energy trying to change people who don't want to change. No more letting someone's bad mood ruin your good day. The truth is, most people spend their lives reacting to criticism, to drama, to opinions that don't even matter. And every reaction costs them something: their time, their focus, their happiness. But what if I told you there's a way to live differently? A way to walk through life with such unshakable calm that people's negativity slides right off you. A way to become so steady, so grounded, that nothing external can control your internal state. In this video, I'm going to share the mindset, the habits, and the simple but powerful shifts that will make you truly untouchable. Not cold, not distant, but fully in control of your emotions, your energy, and your peace, no matter what happens around you. By the end of this, you won't just know how to never be bothered by anyone. You'll start living it. The power of inner peace. Every single day, you will meet people who challenge your patience, test your emotions, and whether intentionally or not, try to shake your peace. It might be a coworker who constantly interrupts you, a family member who criticizes you, or even a stranger who cuts you off in traffic. But here's the truth. You can't control other people. You can't control their moods, their actions, or their opinions. What you can control, and what will change your life, is how much power you give them over your peace of mind. Inner peace is not something you're born with. It's not reserved for monks meditating in the mountains. It's a skill, one that anyone can learn. And the skill begins with a simple, powerful choice. I will not allow anyone else to control my emotional state. When you truly commit to this choice, your entire life changes. You stop being reactive and you start being intentional. You stop giving away your power to every person who annoys you, and you start deciding which things deserve your energy and which don't. Being unbothered doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you've become cold or emotionless. It means you've learned how to separate yourself from the storm around you. You can still engage, connect, and even feel deeply. But you choose when and how to respond. This is the heart of emotional strength. Think of your mind as a calm lake. Every time you let someone's comment, tone, or behavior get to you, you're allowing them to throw a rock into your water. Suddenly, ripples disturb your calm. But here's the thing. You don't have to give them that rock. You can decide to let their negativity fall flat on the shore instead of in your water. This ability to remain centered is not just about avoiding annoyance. It's about building a life that's healthier, happier, and more in control. When you're unbothered, you think more clearly. You make better decisions. You stop wasting hours replaying conversations in your head. You sleep better at night because you're not carrying the weight of other people's behavior. And here's the best part. Once you master the art of staying unbothered, you naturally earn respect. People sense your stability. They realize they can't provoke you easily, and that in turn makes them less likely to even try. You become a person who radiates calm confidence, someone others admire and quietly wish they could be. In this journey, we're going to uncover practical tools, mindset shifts, and daily habits that will make you truly untouchable. Not because life will stop testing you, but because you will stop letting those tests control you. So, as we begin, remember this: your peace is your power, and the moment you decide to protect it, you become unstoppable. Understanding why people bother you. Before you can learn how to never be bothered by anyone, you first have to understand why people bother you in the first place. This step is crucial because without awareness, you're just reacting blindly, and reactions without understanding keep you trapped in the same emotional patterns. The first truth to realize is this: when someone irritates or upsets you, it's rarely just about what they said or did in that moment. What actually bothers you is the meaning you attach to it. Your mind instantly links their behavior to your beliefs, your insecurities, or your past experiences, and that's where the emotional sting comes from. For example, imagine someone dismisses your idea in a meeting. If you carry an old belief that you're not smart enough, that dismissal will feel personal and hurt deeply. But if you have confidence in your ideas, you might brush it off easily or even laugh about it later. Same action, different meaning, different reaction. Another reason people get under our skin is ego. The ego wants to be right, respected, and admired. So when someone challenges you, criticizes you, or fails to give you recognition, it feels like a personal attack on your identity. In reality, most people's actions have nothing to do with you. They're simply acting from their own perspective, their own mood, and their own struggles. But the ego doesn't care about logic. It cares about protecting its image. And here's the thing. Not everyone who bothers you is actually trying to hurt you. Some people are unaware of how their words or actions land. Others are simply projecting their own frustration onto you. Hurt people often hurt people, not because of who you are, but because of what they're carrying inside. Sometimes people bother you because they reflect something within yourself that you haven't accepted yet. If someone's arrogance irritates you, ask yourself, is it because I see a part of myself in them, or because I wish I had the confidence they do? If someone's laziness frustrates you, could it be because you hold yourself to impossibly high standards and can't stand seeing the opposite? When you begin to see the real reason behind your irritation, you gain the power to change your reaction. Instead of thinking, that person made me feel this way, you can shift to, I chose to feel this way because of the meaning I gave to their action. That small shift puts the control back in your hands. The truth is, nobody can truly bother you without your permission. Yes, they can try to provoke you, they can say things that sting, but whether you let those words or actions live rent-free in your head is entirely up to you. Once you master the art of understanding your triggers, you stop being a puppet to other people's behavior. You see clearly, you choose wisely, and most importantly, you keep your peace. The art of emotional detachment. Emotional detachment is one of the most powerful skills you can develop if you want to never be bothered by anyone. But let's make one thing clear. Detachment is not about becoming cold, unfeeling, or indifferent to life. It's about learning how to protect your emotional well-being so you can engage with the world without being controlled by it. Think of it like this. You can be fully present in a storm without letting the rain drench you. Emotional detachment is the umbrella that shields you from the constant downpour of negativity, drama, and unnecessary stress. The first step toward detachment is understanding that you are not your thoughts, emotions, or reactions. When someone says something offensive, your initial emotional surge is just that, a surge. It's temporary. It doesn't define you. By creating space between the stimulus, what happened, and your response, what you choose to do, you take control back. A great way to build this space is through mindful observation. The next time you feel triggered, don't rush to react. Instead, silently label what you're feeling. I'm feeling anger, or I'm feeling hurt. This simple act separates you from the emotion. You become the observer, not the prisoner. Another key to emotional detachment is learning not to take things personally. As we discussed earlier, most of what people say or do is a reflection of their own inner state, not yours. A person's rude comment could be rooted in their bad day, their insecurity, or their stress. And yet, without detachment, we let their problem become our problem. Detachment also means accepting that you can't control everything. You can't control how others speak, act, or think. You can only control your boundaries, your focus, and your energy. Once you truly internalize this truth, you stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. Here's a practical tip. When you feel emotionally pulled into a situation, ask yourself, will this matter a month from now, a year from now? If the answer is no, it's a sign that your energy is better spent elsewhere. It also helps to visualize a protective bubble around yourself. This mental image serves as a reminder that while you can see and hear what's going on around you, it doesn't have to penetrate your inner peace. The bubble doesn't make you detached from reality. It simply filters out what doesn't serve you. The beauty of emotional detachment is that it allows you to remain compassionate without being consumed. You can listen to someone's negativity without absorbing it. You can witness drama without joining it. You can love people without letting their moods dictate yours. When you master the art of emotional detachment, you become untouchable in the best way possible, deeply present, yet completely free. People can say and do whatever they want, and you'll still walk away with your peace intact. Mastering the pause. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools for never being bothered by anyone is something we often overlook: the pause. The pause is that small space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. It's a fraction of a second, but it can be the difference between peace and regret, between keeping control and losing it. Here's the problem. Most people skip the pause entirely. Someone says something rude and they snap back without thinking. A driver cuts them off, and they immediately lean on the horn. A coworker criticizes their work, and they fire off a defensive email. In all these cases, the reaction is instant, emotional, and usually unhelpful. When you master the pause, you train yourself to slow down before you act. You give your brain time to process what's happening, consider the bigger picture, and decide whether it's even worth your energy. This is how you stop being a puppet on other people's strings. The pause works because it interrupts the emotional surge that happens when you feel triggered. That surge, whether it's anger, frustration, or embarrassment, usually peaks and then fades within seconds. If you can ride out that wave without reacting, you'll find that most situations no longer feel as urgent or upsetting. Here's how to practice the pause. Recognize the trigger. The moment you feel your body tense up, your heart race, or your mind start to argue, you've been triggered. That's your cue to pause. Breathe. Take one slow, deep breath. Inhale through your nose, hold it for a moment, then exhale through your mouth. This signals to your body that you are in control. Ask yourself a question. Is this worth my peace? Do I need to respond at all? Will this matter tomorrow? These quick mental checks help you shift from reaction to choice. Choose your response. Sometimes you'll decide to address the issue calmly. Other times you'll decide to let it go completely. Either way, you're acting from clarity, not impulse. Think about the last time you reacted instantly and regretted it. How would that situation have turned out differently if you had paused for just 5 seconds? That's the power we're talking about here. The pause is also a subtle way to take control in conversations. When someone tries to provoke you, your silence can be more powerful than any comeback. It shows them that their words don't control you. You control yourself. Over time, the pause becomes second nature. You stop letting emotions dictate your actions and start living from a place of deliberate choice. And once you do that, you'll find that very few people have the power to truly bother you anymore. Letting go of the need for approval. One of the biggest reasons people get under your skin is because deep down, you care about what they think of you. The need for approval is like an invisible chain that ties your mood and self-worth to other people's opinions. If someone praises you, you feel great. If they criticize you, you feel crushed. If they ignore you, you start questioning yourself. That's not freedom. That's emotional dependence. Here's the hard truth. As long as your sense of self is dependent on external validation, you will always be vulnerable to being bothered. Why? Because people's opinions are unstable. They change based on their mood, their experiences, and their own insecurities. You could do everything right and someone will still find a reason to disapprove. Letting go of the need for approval means deciding that your worth is not up for debate. You stop playing to the crowd and start living according to your own values. It's not about becoming arrogant or dismissive. It's about building an inner foundation so strong that it doesn't crumble every time someone frowns at you. Ask yourself, whose opinion am I living for? Is it a parent, a boss, friends, strangers on the internet? And more importantly, are those people even qualified to define your worth? When you release the need for approval, you free yourself from endless self-doubt. You also stop overthinking every action, every word, every choice. You start living authentically. You wear what you like, speak your truth, pursue the goals that matter to you, regardless of whether they're popular. Here's the secret. The people who matter will respect you more when you live by your own convictions. And the people who don't respect you, they were never your people to begin with. One way to practice this is through self-validation. Every day, remind yourself of your strengths, your progress, and your values. Don't wait for someone else to tell you you're doing well. Tell yourself. Another is to embrace criticism without absorbing it. Listen to feedback, but filter it. Keep what's useful, discard the rest. Also, remember this: approval is often an illusion. People are usually more focused on themselves than on you. The judgment you fear is often nowhere near as intense as you imagine. And even if it is, you still have the choice to be unaffected. When you no longer need people's approval to feel good about yourself, you become incredibly difficult to provoke. Insults bounce off, opinions lose their grip, and suddenly you realize that the only person who truly has the power to bother you is you. Letting go of the need for approval is one of the most liberating things you'll ever do, because once you approve of yourself, nobody else's opinion can take your peace away. The shield of self-confidence. If you want to be truly unbothered by anyone, you need armor, and that armor is self-confidence. Think about it. When you're secure in who you are, people's words or actions simply don't cut as deep. It's not that you never notice them, it's that you don't let them define you. Confidence acts as a protective shield that keeps negativity from penetrating your sense of self. On the other hand, when your self-confidence is low, every comment feels like a threat. A passing joke feels like an insult. Constructive feedback feels like a personal attack. That's because without confidence, your mind automatically seeks validation from others to feel safe. True confidence is not about thinking you're better than everyone else. It's about knowing your worth without needing to prove it. It's the calm assurance that you are enough, even if someone else doesn't see it. Building this kind of confidence takes time, but it's a skill anyone can develop. Here are some powerful ways to strengthen it. Keep promises to yourself. Every time you follow through on something you said you'd do, you build trust with yourself. That trust becomes confidence. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Confidence comes from self-awareness. When you know what you're good at, you can own it. When you know your weaknesses, you can improve without shame. Set and achieve small goals. Success builds confidence. Even small wins, when consistent, create an unshakable belief in your abilities. Speak to yourself with respect. Self-talk shapes your self-image. Replace constant self-criticism with words that empower you. Surround yourself with supportive people. Confidence grows in environments that nurture you, not ones that tear you down. When you have strong self-confidence, criticism becomes information, not destruction. If someone says something negative, you evaluate it objectively. Does this help me grow, or is it just noise? If it's useful, you apply it. If it's useless, you let it go without a second thought. Confident people also naturally command respect. When you walk into a room with certainty in your presence, people are less likely to try to undermine you. And even if they do, it has no lasting effect, because your validation comes from within, not from their approval. Here's the beauty of confidence. It creates a cycle. The more you trust yourself, the less people can shake you. The less people can shake you, the more you trust yourself. Over time, you become unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. So if you want to never be bothered by anyone, work on building your self-confidence every single day. Let it be your shield, the silent, invisible force that protects your peace no matter what storms come your way. Choosing your battles wisely. One of the most effective ways to remain unbothered is to master the art of choosing your battles wisely. The reality is this: not every comment deserves a reply. Not every argument is worth winning. Not every hill is worth dying on. When you try to fight every little provocation, you burn out quickly and waste your energy on things that ultimately don't matter. Think of your time and energy as currency. You wouldn't spend your last $100 on something meaningless. So why spend your emotional energy on situations or people that don't add value to your life? Here's a truth many people struggle to accept. Silence can be more powerful than confrontation. When someone tries to provoke you and you respond with calm indifference, you take away their power. They wanted a reaction, but you gave them none. That alone is a win. Choosing your battles starts with asking yourself a few key questions. Will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? If the answer is no, it's probably not worth your time. Is this about my ego or my values? If you're only reacting to prove a point or protect your pride, it might not be worth it. If it's about standing up for something deeply important to you, then it's a battle worth considering. Can this be solved without conflict? Sometimes a calm conversation or even walking away can resolve an issue better than engaging in a fight. Does this person's opinion really matter to my life? If they have no real influence on your happiness, finances, or well-being, their words lose significance. A big part of choosing your battles is learning to see the bigger picture. For example, if a stranger is rude to you in public, does it really change your life? Probably not. If your close friend says something hurtful, that may be worth addressing, because that relationship matters. Here's another truth. Some people feed off drama. They want you to argue because it entertains them or makes them feel in control. By refusing to engage, you starve them of that satisfaction. Over time, they'll realize they can't get a rise out of you, and they'll stop trying. Also, understand that winning an argument doesn't always mean you've gained anything. You might prove someone wrong, but at the cost of your peace. And peace is always more valuable than the temporary satisfaction of being right. Remember, your energy is finite. Every moment you spend on petty disputes is a moment you could be spending on growth, joy, and building the life you want. So the next time someone tries to pull you into drama, pause and ask yourself, is this worth it? Most of the time, the answer will be no. And that's when you walk away, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Practicing radical empathy. If you want to become truly unbothered by anyone, here's a mindset shift that will change everything. Practice radical empathy. Radical empathy means making a conscious effort to understand where someone is coming from, even if they're being rude, negative, or difficult. It's not about excusing bad behavior or letting people walk over you. It's about recognizing that their actions are usually a reflection of them, not you. Here's the truth. People rarely act out because of you. More often, they act out because of what's going on inside them. Stress, insecurity, fear, or unresolved pain. The angry coworker might be under pressure at home. The impatient stranger might be dealing with personal loss. The gossiping friend might be masking their own feelings of inadequacy. When you start seeing people through this lens, their words lose their sting. Instead of thinking, why are they attacking me? You start thinking, they must be struggling with something I can't see. That shift alone can neutralize so much of the emotional charge. One powerful habit to develop is asking yourself what might be happening in their world before reacting. This forces you to pause and consider the bigger picture. For example, someone cuts you off in traffic. Maybe they're rushing to an emergency. A customer snaps at you. Maybe they've had a terrible day before they even walked in. A friend cancels plans last minute. Maybe they're overwhelmed and don't know how to say it. Of course, empathy doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. You can still set boundaries while choosing not to take things personally. It's the difference between saying, I understand you're upset, but I won't allow you to speak to me that way, and reacting with anger that escalates the situation. Empathy also protects your peace because it keeps you from internalizing other people's negativity. When you realize their behavior is about them, you stop letting it define you. This is one of the strongest emotional shields you can have. Practicing radical empathy will also improve your relationships. People naturally respond better when they feel understood, even if you disagree with them. Sometimes simply acknowledging someone's feelings, I can see why you'd feel that way, is enough to diffuse tension. Here's the key takeaway. Empathy is not weakness, it's strength under control. It takes far more strength to remain calm and understanding in the face of hostility than to lash out in return. When you make empathy a default response, you stop giving others the power to ruin your day. You can stand firm in your boundaries, protect your peace, and still treat others with humanity. And that's the kind of strength very few people can shake. The power of perspective. One of the quickest ways to stop being bothered by anyone is to master the power of perspective. When something frustrates you, it's easy to get stuck inside the moment, to let that one comment, that one action, or that one interaction feel like the whole world. But when you zoom out and see the bigger picture, you'll realize that most of the things that upset you are tiny dots in the grand timeline of your life. Here's a simple rule that can transform your reactions. If it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes being upset about it. Think about it. How many things that stressed you out 5 years ago still matter today? Probably very few. Yet, in the moment, they felt huge. That's the illusion of the present. It magnifies problems that will shrink over time. Perspective works because it shifts your focus from now to forever. Instead of asking, "How do I feel right now?" you start asking, "How much will this matter in the long run?" This mental shift instantly drains the emotional charge from most situations. Here's an example. Imagine someone makes a sarcastic comment about your appearance. In the heat of the moment, you might feel embarrassed or angry. But if you step back and think, "Will I even remember this next month?" The answer is almost always no. Suddenly, it's easier to let it go. Another way perspective helps is by reminding you that life is made up of countless moments, not just this one. If you let one bad interaction ruin your entire day, you're giving away far more energy than it deserves. But if you can compartmentalize it, that was an unpleasant 5 minutes, but the rest of my day can still be good, you regain control. Perspective also teaches you to weigh problems proportionally. Not all issues deserve the same emotional investment. For instance, a loved one being in the hospital is worth your full attention and emotional energy. A stranger rolling their eyes at you, not even close. One of my favorite tools for gaining perspective is time travel thinking. Ask yourself, what would the future version of me, 5 years older and wiser, say about this situation? Often, that future version would tell you to let it go and focus on what really matters. The truth is, the world is full of annoyances, misunderstandings, and petty behaviors. But with perspective, you stop treating them as disasters and start seeing them as tiny bumps in the road. You keep driving forward, focused on the destination, instead of obsessing over every small stone you roll over. And here's the beautiful part. When you live with perspective, people notice. You become the calm one in chaos, the steady voice in the noise, and that kind of presence is nearly impossible to bother. Controlling what you can, releasing what you can't. One of the greatest sources of stress, frustration, and irritation in life comes from trying to control things and people that are simply beyond your control. The truth is, the more you try to control what you can't, the more powerless and bothered you will feel. If you want to live unbothered, you have to separate the world into 2 clear categories: things you can control and things you can't. You can control your words, your actions, your attitude, your effort, your boundaries. You can't control other people's opinions, their choices, their moods, their past, the unexpected events life throws your way. When you pour your energy into what you can control, life becomes simpler and far less stressful. When you waste energy on what you can't control, you feel drained, resentful, and perpetually irritated. Here's the secret. People who are rarely bothered by others have learned to accept, fully and without resentment, that they cannot control anyone but themselves. They don't waste time trying to make someone see their point of view, act differently, or change their personality. They adjust their expectations, their boundaries, and their response instead. Imagine this. You're outside and it starts to rain. You can't stop the rain. That's outside your control. But you can grab an umbrella, find shelter, or simply enjoy getting wet. That's the difference between fighting reality and adapting to it. The same applies to people. You can't stop someone from being rude, but you can choose how you respond. You can't prevent someone from gossiping, but you can choose whether to give their words any value. You can't make someone appreciate you, but you can choose to appreciate yourself enough that their opinion doesn't shake you. One of the best mental habits to develop is asking yourself, am I focusing on what I can control right now, or what I can't? If the answer is the latter, it's a signal to let go. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop wasting energy on the impossible. It's a form of emotional self-protection that keeps you from burning out over things that were never yours to manage in the first place. When you master this mindset, you become incredibly resilient. You stop getting pulled into other people's storms because you know the only ship you can steer is your own. And when you're focused on steering it well, the noise, chaos, and drama of others lose their power over you. Control what you can, release what you can't. That's not just a recipe for being unbothered. It's a blueprint for a calmer, stronger, and far happier life. Building boundaries that protect your peace. If you want to be unbothered, you have to stop letting everyone have unlimited access to your time, energy, and emotions. That's where boundaries come in. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about drawing a clear line between what's acceptable in your life and what's not. They're about saying, this is where I end and you begin. Without boundaries, you become an open door for negativity, manipulation, and unnecessary drama to walk right in. Think about it. If you never set limits, people will take as much as you give. They'll call you at all hours, dump their problems on you, criticize you without consequence, and expect you to always be available. And the more you allow it, the more drained and resentful you become. The first step in building strong boundaries is knowing your limits. Ask yourself, what behaviors drain me the most? What situations repeatedly upset me? Which people make me feel disrespected or undervalued? Once you identify these patterns, you can start drawing lines. That might mean telling a friend, I'm not available to talk late at night anymore. Or telling a coworker, I can't take on extra work without notice. Or simply deciding not to engage in certain conversations that lead nowhere productive. Here's the key. Boundaries only work if you enforce them consistently. If you say no, but then give in every time, people will learn that your limits are flexible and can be ignored. But when you hold your ground, you send a powerful message. My peace matters. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear being seen as rude, selfish, or difficult. But in reality, healthy boundaries improve relationships. They create mutual respect. They ensure that you're showing up for others from a place of strength, not exhaustion. You also have to remember that boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about controlling your own response. You can't force someone to stop being negative, but you can limit the time you spend with them. You can't stop someone from gossiping, but you can refuse to participate in the conversation. Here's a practical boundary tip. Decide your non-negotiables in advance. These are the actions, words, or situations you will not tolerate under any circumstances. Knowing them ahead of time makes it easier to respond calmly and decisively when they arise. Strong boundaries act like a fence around your emotional garden. They keep out the weeds that would choke your peace while allowing in the relationships and experiences that help you grow. And the more you practice setting them, the easier it becomes to protect your space without guilt. When your boundaries are clear, you'll notice something amazing. People start treating you differently. They respect your time more. They think twice before crossing the line. And even if they try, you'll have the confidence to stand your ground, completely unbothered. Developing a mindset of abundance. One of the most powerful ways to stop being bothered by people is to shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. A scarcity mindset operates on fear. The fear that there's not enough love, respect, opportunity, success, or happiness to go around. When you think this way, other people's actions feel like threats. If someone else is praised, you feel overlooked. If someone else succeeds, you feel like your chances just got smaller. If someone ignores you, you fear you've lost value. But an abundance mindset says the opposite. There's more than enough for everyone. Someone else's success doesn't take away from yours. Someone else's approval or disapproval doesn't define your worth. And someone else's mood doesn't have to impact your peace. When you live with abundance, you stop competing for validation. You don't feel the need to prove yourself to every person you meet. You understand that your value is fixed. It doesn't rise or fall based on who notices you or who tries to tear you down. Here's how abundance changes the game. In conversations, you don't feel the need to dominate or win every exchange. You can listen, agree to disagree, and walk away without resentment. In relationships, you don't cling to toxic people out of fear of being alone. You know there are plenty of healthy, supportive connections out there. In opportunities, you don't panic when you miss one chance because you believe more will come. Developing an abundance mindset starts with gratitude. When you focus daily on what you already have, your health, your skills, your relationships, your achievements, your mind naturally shifts away from fear and scarcity. You begin to see life as full, not lacking. Another step is to celebrate others without envy. If someone gets a promotion, congratulate them sincerely. If a friend buys their dream home, you'll be happy for them. This trains your brain to see success as something to be inspired by, not threatened by. Abundance also makes it easier to let go of grudges. If someone treats you poorly, you don't dwell on it, because you know there are endless other people and experiences that will bring joy and respect into your life. You stop obsessing over the few who drain you and focus on the many who uplift you. Here's the key. Abundance doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means believing there's always another path, another chance, and another reason to move forward, no matter what others say or do. When you adopt this mindset, people lose their power to make you feel small. Their wins don't make you insecure. Their insults don't touch your core, and their approval or disapproval becomes irrelevant. An abundance mindset gives you the ultimate freedom, the ability to stay calm, confident, and completely unbothered, no matter how anyone else behaves. Mastering the art of letting go. If you truly want to live unbothered, you must master one of life's greatest skills, the art of letting go. Holding on to anger, grudges, resentment, or even the need to be right is like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. At first, you think you're strong enough to handle it, but over time, it weighs you down, drains your energy, and robs you of your peace. Letting go isn't about pretending something didn't happen or ignoring your feelings. It's about making a conscious decision that you will no longer allow certain people, words, or events to live rent-free in your mind. It's about deciding that your peace is more important than your pride. Here's the truth. People will hurt you. They will misunderstand you. They will say things that are unfair, untrue, and sometimes downright cruel. You can't control that, but you can control how long you choose to carry the pain. When you hold on to resentment, you're keeping the wound open. You're replaying the moment over and over in your mind, giving it power every single time. Letting go is like finally closing the door. It doesn't mean you approve of what happened. It means you've decided you won't let it define you anymore. A practical way to start letting go is to change your focus. Instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" That shift turns the situation into a lesson instead of a lifelong burden. Another powerful tool is forgiveness. Not for their sake, but for yours. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget or excuse someone's behavior. It means you refuse to let their actions poison your mind and heart any longer. It's saying, "I choose to move on with or without your apology." Letting go also applies to expectations. Sometimes we're most bothered by people because they didn't act the way we wanted them to. But here's the thing. People are who they are, not who we think they should be. The sooner you accept that, the freer you become. Remember, letting go is a process. You might have to release the same thought or feeling over and over before it finally fades. That's okay. Every time you release it, you loosen its grip on you a little more. When you master the art of letting go, you become lighter. You walk into each day without the weight of yesterday's pain. You stop expecting closure from others and give it to yourself instead. And that's when you realize the things and people that used to bother you no longer have that power. Because the moment you let go, you take your peace back. The strength of staying present. One of the most underrated skills for living unbothered is staying present. Most of the things that disturb your peace don't actually come from what's happening right now. They come from memories of the past or worries about the future. Think about it. How often are you upset because of something someone said to you last week, last month, or even years ago? Or anxious because of something they might say or do in the future? The mind loves to replay old pain and rehearse future problems, but neither of those are happening in this very moment. When you're truly present, you realize that right now is usually fine. Right now, you're breathing, you're alive, you're safe, and most of the threats you feel, exist only in your thoughts. Staying present means training your mind to live in this second, not in the echo of yesterday or the shadow of tomorrow. And the more you practice it, the less you're controlled by other people's past actions or potential future behavior. Here are some powerful ways to stay present. Mindful breathing. Anytime you feel triggered, focus on your breath. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. This pulls your attention back to the here and now. Grounding through senses. Notice what you can see, hear, touch, smell, and taste in the moment. It's hard for the mind to spiral into anger or worry when your senses are fully engaged. Label the moment. If you catch yourself replaying an old argument or predicting a future one, mentally say, "That's the past," or "That's the future." Then bring yourself back to now. Single tasking. Instead of doing 5 things at once while your mind races, focus entirely on one task. Give it your full attention. When you stay present, other people's ability to bother you shrinks dramatically. Why? Because you're not dragging their past behavior into this moment, and you're not inventing future scenarios where they upset you. You're dealing only with what is, not with what was or what could be. Staying present also helps you respond instead of react. If you're fully here, you're more aware of your choices. You can decide calmly how to handle a situation instead of being swept away by old grudges or imagined fears. One thing to remember, staying present is not about ignoring reality. If someone disrespects you right now, you acknowledge it and handle it, but you don't let the moment replay endlessly in your head for days afterward. The strength of staying present is that it frees you from unnecessary suffering. You stop living in moments that no longer exist, and you stop fearing moments that may never come. You live fully in the only time you truly have control over, this one. And when you live here, in the now, very little can bother you, because peace lives here too. Turning criticism into fuel. If you want to reach a point where no one can easily bother you, you have to change how you view criticism. Most people either fear it, resent it, or avoid it entirely. But the truth is, criticism can be one of your greatest tools, if you learn to use it as fuel. Here's the reality. You will be judged no matter what you do. Whether you play it safe or take bold risks, someone will have something to say. You can't control that. What you can control is how you respond to it. When you hear criticism, the first question to ask is there truth in this? If yes, you've just been handed a free opportunity to grow. If no, then why give it power? Instead of letting criticism damage your confidence, see it as data. Useful data can be applied to improve yourself. Useless data can be discarded without a second thought. Either way, you win, because you've taken control of the narrative. For example, if someone says, "You're terrible at public speaking," and you know your presentation skills need work, that's a gift. You can now focus on improving. But if someone says, "You'll never succeed because you're not smart enough," that's not truth. That's their insecurity talking, and you can let it roll off without absorbing it. Here's a mindset shift. Criticism is a reflection of the giver, not just the receiver. Sometimes it's constructive, coming from someone who genuinely wants to help you grow. Sometimes it's destructive, coming from someone who feels threatened by your progress. The key is to learn the difference. One of the best skills you can develop is emotional filtering. Imagine criticism as water being poured into a filter. The clean, useful insights pass through, and the dirt, the personal attacks, the jealousy, the baseless opinions, gets left behind. The beauty of turning criticism into fuel is that it makes you unshakable. Instead of avoiding feedback out of fear, you welcome it. You know that even if someone tries to tear you down, you have the power to turn their words into motivation. Here's a personal challenge. Next time you get criticized, thank the person, either silently in your mind or, if appropriate, out loud. Why? Because they've just given you something to work with, whether that's a useful lesson or an example of what to ignore. And remember, every successful person has been criticized, often by the very people who never dared to try. If they had let it bother them, they wouldn't be where they are today. When you learn to turn criticism into fuel, you stop fearing it. You stop letting it define you. And suddenly, what used to bother you now drives you forward faster than ever.